Hey dolls, welcome to my channel. In today's video, we are doing a fiber gel repair on natural nails. Stay tuned to see the nail magic that we can create. Okay dolls, we are back at it. So this nail broke. I tried so hard to get this nail to hang on until I could film this, but that's not what happened. I've got a big crack on my middle finger. I've got 2 cracks on my thumb. So I'm gonna use this fiber repair extension gel that I got from Shein. First, I'm going in with my mini sanding band, and I have this on either in between 8 to 10,000 RPM, and this is a 180 sanding band. Now I have base gel and top coat on my natural nail right now, so I'm only focusing on filing that down, and I'm gonna get it down to like the thinnest level that I can without causing any burns or anything like that. Once I got down to like really low levels, I saw that I had some lifting. So I'm just removing any lifting and taking off the current product. I usually have a little something on my nails, especially with me creating content. I'm constantly doing a set and then prying them off, doing a set, prying them off. It's bad for your nails. Now I have turned it down to 4,000 RPM and I'm going on the natural nail. I'm pushing that cuticle away. I'm getting any dead skin off. I'm prepping my regrowth, making sure that I'm really just removing the shine. I want some new product, the fiber gel, to have something to adhere to. So you have to roughen up your natural nail, but don't go crazy. You're not trying to get a ring of fire. You're not trying to take off too much natural nail. You're just trying to scuff it up, remove the shine. Then I go in with my ball bit, and I think I have this either 8 or 10,000 RPM. I go in between those two numbers. I personally wouldn't recommend using that high, but it just really depends on how thick your cuticles are, how dry your skin is, if they come off really easy or not. I do not nip mine. I get too carried away and I take off live skin every single time. So I don't clip them. I don't nip them. I don't take cuticle scissors unless I've got like a super stubborn hangnail or something that the ball bit is just not going to get. Then I might do a slight little nip. But otherwise, I'm going to go overboard every single time. And then my cuticles are sore for like weeks. So I just stay with my ball bit. I love it. Now I'm going in with my hand file and I'm going to crispen up my shape. So the reason that my thumb split on both sides, I was doing a stiletto set, and that's when my nails were longer and I filed the crap out of my sidewall. So I did this to myself. And that's when I started putting just a thin layer of rubber base, and then you got to put some top coat on because rubber base soaks up everything. So if you touch denim, if you dye your hair, if you do anything, it just soaks up all that color, and they always just look dingy. So I put a top coat on. And again, I was just taking it down to the lowest possible level that I could get it and cleaning it all off so that I could show you. Before I apply anything, I do thoroughly wash my hands, but I'm trying to show you the splits that I have. Watching this back, I can see some of the splits, but when I was actually filming, it's not coming up on my screen that you can like clearly see. But I've got a nice break on each side, and that's just where I filed my natural sidewall way too much. And I'm thoroughly rough with my hands. So after I've got everything fully filed, this is where we're at. I've got a split on my index finger too. Going in with LGN's Dehydrator, and I'm gonna thoroughly dehydrate all of these nails. And you'll actually see as I'm doing this, it goes on wet and then it gets really dried out quickly. That is what you want. That means that you are ready. This one looks like I put nothing on it. And I remember when I was doing these, it hasn't been that long ago, I could feel the wetness on my fingers. So I don't, it definitely is time to get more. But yeah, I don't know why. I try to get it closer to the camera and it's like, yeah, well, you didn't do anything. I promise I did. But then we're going in with this fiber extension gel, and I did get this from Shein. I have no idea how to pronounce that, and I'm going to show you a couple different things. So this stuff is pretty thick. On camera, it's not really picking up that there's fibers in it, but when you start putting it on the nail, you can see it, and then when you file it, you can see it, which I'll explain more. But so I'm doing this just like builder gel in a bottle. So you do your slip layer, you paint the very first layer like you would a polish. It's super thin. And then if there's more on the brush, you can use that. If not, then you need to dip it back in. Since this is such a small finger, I had plenty. So then I go back and I like kind of blob it down, and then I'm going in circular motions. I'm covering from sidewall to sidewall and pulling down at the same time. And you want to do this with a light, even hand and really pull it all the way to the free edge. And then you can kind of go up the sidewalls, kind of wherever maybe you didn't put enough or it's not even, you can kind of even it out, flatten it out. This gives you time to work with because it is thick, but I did notice I was getting some flooding. Now this is the first time I've ever used this, but it's definitely not as thick as builder gel. So just give yourself some grace with it. Here I'm taking what I had at the free edge and kind of pulling it up. And then I'm taking a liner brush and I'm just spreading it all around, making sure that I've got to the cuticle, that I've got down my sidewalls. I am not trying to make this thick. So I am going with my natural apex of my nail, the natural curve of my nail. All I want to do is reinforce my natural nails because I'm constantly putting a set on and taking it off. And because I'm so dang hard on my hands. Flip your hand over, let gravity help you. That's what I'm working with. And there's a shot in here somewhere where I show you the free edge and show you right here. It's not that thick. It did add a little bit of thickness, but I'm not trying to build them up like I have builder gel. So for the thumb, it's the same exact thing. I just like to show you on a bigger finger with more real estate. But so I'm applying a thin layer and then I got a good amount of gel on the brush. So then I'm going back and just applying it like you would builder gel. Like if it was in a bottle, you're kind of pulling it from side to side, pulling it down as you go. You want to keep your brush touching the nail. You want to keep it in the polish. You don't really want to lift it up too much. I do a couple of times. Weird. As long as you can still move your gel away. Doing this with clear is really hard because you can't see. So there are some nails, like I do all the rest off camera. I had to get like in my face. But that's what the liner brush is for. Before you cure it, take your liner brush, move it anywhere that you need it. If you've got a low spot and you've got like a high blob, pull from that blob into that low spot. This stuff is pretty forgiving. This finger, I got the most flooding, and I think it's just because I'm holding it sideways for a pretty good amount of time. I'm just kind of moving it all over the place. But I really wanted to make sure I got the sidewalls really good on this one since I have a split on both sides. And the longer it is on your finger, the warmer it gets, so then the more that it starts to move. Here is it applied to all the nails. It is very sticky. So you definitely need to pay attention when you're wiping it off. I'm just using 91% alcohol to clean mine. But you definitely don't want to go straight in with your file because you will gunk your file all up. I'm using a 100-180 and I'm using the 100 grit side. And I'm just crispening it up. I had some flooding, like I said, on the sidewall. So I'm making sure that I get that. Making sure that I don't over file my sidewalls again. Filing my free edge, and then I'm buffing this whole nail out. You are going to need to put something over this, whether you go straight in with polish if that's what you're doing, or you just top coat your natural nails. But this is like a rubber base. You're going to need something on it. It's super porous. Now, when you file it, that's when you'll notice the fibers. It's like they never get smooth. Even after I buffed it, you could still feel, like when you rubbed your finger on it, you could still feel the fibers. But that's the thumb, and then I did the rest off. So for this ring finger, it's not crazy shorter than the rest, but I don't have enough fingernail to give it that square shape. So what I'm gonna do is put a form on. These are just like some super cheap beginner friendly forms. I don't even know if these are beginner friendly, but some super cheap forms I got, I think from Shein, probably in a kit of something else. I think when I very first got builder gel, I got cheap stuff because I just, I wanted to play. I didn't really know what I was doing. I absolutely outgrew that cheap stuff, but I've had these forms for 100 years and I've never needed to buy more because I haven't ran out of them, and they work fine for me. So I roughened that nail up real good, put the form on, and then I'm going back in with that fiber gel. I put a thin layer over the whole nail, and then I took a bigger blob and I'm actually laying it on the form, building myself a free edge. And I'm making sure that what's on the form is going over the nail, connecting, and then up both side walls. And again, this is kind of difficult because it's clear, so I had to get my face like in there. But I wasn't trying to be super precise with this. I just wanted to make sure that I had enough gel that when I took my form off, it wasn't all just on the form. It was actually connected to my fingernail. But this is going to need to be filed. She's a hot mess, but I don't need much real estate. So I obviously put more than I need, and that way I can file. It's better to have too much than not enough. Make sure you clean this stuff really well, the underside as well. And then I went in with filing, and apparently, I don't know, past Jamie didn't think that she was gonna need to be in the camera angle, so a lot of this is cut out. But I filed it the exact same as the rest of them, except for I focused more on thinning it out. I don't want these nails thick. I'm still gonna be creating content and putting tips on top of them and stuff. I just want to reinforce what I have. So after I filed most of it, I went in with my sanding band again and just evened everything out. And then I went in with my buffing block and buffed them. And like you can see at the free edge, the little tiny fibers kind of sticking out. But there really wasn't much I could do about it. I cleaned my nails off really well. I buffed them, I don't know how many times, because I was like, man, they still feel rough, but it's because it's fiber. And then I'm using the glass top coat from the same brand that I got in my last Shein haul, making sure that this is a super thin layer, but something has to go on top of these. And since I'm not going in with polish and all that, I just went straight in with top coated all of that. Full 60-second cure. It was a 60-second cure for all the fiber as well. And this is what I've got left. So I'm showing you, I didn't make these super thick. Add some cuticle oil, rub that all in, because you've got to replenish all the oils that you took out with that alcohol. And as you can see on the free edge, that is all the fibers there. And you can also see where I built up some more real estate. I think when did I even do these? I think I'm about 4 days in on this, and I've hit my nails more times than I want to admit, and they're holding strong. The free edges, I didn't cap them very well with the top coat, so you can feel how rough they are, and you can kind of feel those little tiny fibers in there, but not enough to bother me. And it's very strong. It's still flexible in the sense that I probably could, if I squeezed them hard enough, break them, but they're holding strong. I highly recommend this stuff. I did get heat spikes curing. But that's it, dolls. I will see you in the next one. Bye.